And welcome back, YouTube. It is 4:54 p.m. Friday, September 30th, 2022, and I am just now headed to Bullock's. And yeah, this is very late in the day for me to be heading to Bullock's. I probably am not going to get dollar tacos today. I definitely missed breakfast, but I finally got some good sleep, which is something I haven't got for days. I've just been waking up every day really tired, and last night's karaoke show was rough. I just was like a grouchy. So at one point I got on the mic and yelled at everybody. I was that like just grouchy and tired. So I am leaving the store right now that I still call Kinko's at 4040 East Thomas. And just to clarify, the store that I always refer to as Kinko's is actually FedEx office. It hasn't been Kinko's in a long time, but I don't deal well with things changing names. Just don't. This will always be Kinko's to me. And before the name was changed to FedEx office, this was a Kinko's location that I went to. And to be completely fair, the inside of the place is pretty much the same as it was when it was Kinko's. The services offered, pretty much the same as when it was Kinko's. Yeah, I just basically did what I would do when I go to Kinko's. So in my mind, still Kinko's. I mentioned that to Priscilla that I had my books in the car and I needed to go to Kinko's and make new inserts for my karaoke books. And she's like, "Oh, does Kinko's still exist?" I didn't know Kinko still existed. And I was like, "Oh, it does. It's just called FedEx office now." Anyway, it's been a long time since I've gone in there and done. And it used to be, the last time I went there were prepaid cards that I had to use. They were able to just use my business debit card for the self-service copying, so that's cool. I'm fairly sure somewhere I've got a FedEx Business or maybe even a Kinko's prepaid card that still has a balance on it, but yeah, no time to look for that, and my total was a whopping $6. So yeah, not even worth the time to try to find that. I'll find that when I'll find that, and hopefully I'll put that somewhere and it'll still be accessible the next time I need to go to Kinko's. Excuse me, FedEx office. But in the meantime, I got new inserts for the books done. That's been needing done for a while. My books have just been looking super trashy, and I'm still kind of doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm just taking the old sheet and putting white out on the stains and photocopying it. So at this point, they're like third or fourth generation copies. Yeah, they're not looking great. They're not looking. The new ones don't look bad though. So I'm assuming the QR code is still sharp enough. It should get people to my online book. And oh man, I'm hoping good. I was worried we weren't going to get to the left turn arrow because the guy was so forward in the lane so as not to be on the second sensor. But yay, I got my left turn arrow. Got a little bit ahead of the traffic here. So yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock, which means I'm dealing with Friday rush hour traffic. Trying to get over to I've just left Kinko's. Trying to get over to Bullock's from the Arcadia Kinko's, and yeah, I every Friday that I sleep in, I find myself doing this in rush hour traffic, and I've pretty much got it down to a science. I'm not even bothering to look at the Google traffic aggregate. I'm just kind of using my eyes, keeping an eye on where traffic is at, and making adjustments accordingly. Going into that last intersection, I wasn't planning on turning left on Indian School, but it was just really obvious to me by how many people were waiting to go straight on 40th Street versus how much emptiness there was going to the left turn lane, that if I could catch the left turn arrow, which I did, that I would be a little bit ahead of the game. And I feel like I am. So anyway, these inserts, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Made replacements for all the, for those who haven't seen my karaoke book, many years ago, I switched to exclusively using digital karaoke book, which is a website. It's on songbookdb.com/books/Dan. There is a link to it in my channel about page. Granted, some people don't seem capable of using the web browser on their smartphone, and that is what it is. I don't have time to teach everybody how to use their smartphone. And for those people, there's the simple directions on every page that says to sing. Write the artist and title of any song and your name. And I always tell people, even if the song is not in the online book, just go ahead and write it down. There's a good chance I already have it, because I'm literally, anytime I'm sitting on that computer, hosting a show, not hosting that show, whatever, I'm constantly acquiring new tracks and downloading new tracks. And it's to the point now, I will never, ever, ever, ever catch up on putting every single track that I've purchased and downloaded into my songbookdb.com database. It's never going to happen, because of just the amount of time it takes to database things the way I database things, and as meticulous as I am about it, versus how rapidly I'm constantly downloading karaoke and how frequently new karaoke tracks come out now. I mean, there's so many more sources for karaoke now than there ever has been, and I'm acquiring it as quick as I can, especially the stuff that's free on YouTube. So, no, I don't want to do this. I was contemplating turning left on Campbell. Changed my mind. That's not going to help me at all. Better to stay in the center lane and get ahead of everybody that's piling up in the other two lanes. And not even have to stop, because by the time I hit the intersection, it was green. Good times. Someday I should make a series of videos on aggressive defensive driving, which sounds like an oxymoron, but I swear it's a thing. And if it's not, I need to make it a thing. Because what I just did, I would consider an aggressive defensive driving move. But yeah, it got me ahead of a whole lot of stop traffic there. But at the same time, I didn't have to tailgate anybody. Check that out. Got here right as the left turn arrows are going on. It's this kind of stuff that made me so efficient as a cab driver. I feel like I should be doing some kind of driving job. Maybe I should get myself a gig at like Domino's Pizza or something, delivering on the weekend. One of the places that actually still delivers their own pizza, as opposed to just putting that off on DoorDash and Uber Eats and the other food delivery websites, app-based food delivery websites. So, yeah, whether I got a big delivery area, a small delivery area, these kind of tricks that I use to get around traffic, they always work. Consequently, whenever I'm doing any kind of delivery stuff, preferably people delivery as a cab driver, I just get around Phoenix traffic pretty much faster than anybody. And granted, if I'm paid by the hour, I'm paid by the hour. However, if there's tips involved, more trips equals more trips, more tips, and I tend to get more trips done per hour than ordinary people. Even my daughter, when I ride with her, or I drive and she just operates the apps and rides shotgun and runs in and out of the restaurants doing Uber Eats, which, God, I miss doing that with her now that she's in Portland and I'm so far away. We did spend a good solid long session, all night session doing that the last time I was in Portland with her, and that was pretty awesome. And she told me she definitely makes way more money with me either riding shotgun and navigating, or me just behind the wheel doing my thing. Even in a place like Portland where I don't know all the streets, just because a lot of the tricks that I use to avoid traffic are not exclusive to location. But when I'm in a location like this where I literally know every back road, the timing of every stoplight, yeah, it makes a big difference. Alright, this shouldn't be a pedestrian in the crosswalk, but I'm inching that slowly just in case. Yeah, I'm through the intersection before anybody going straight was through the intersection. Well, anybody, you know, where I would have been lining up behind those other vehicles. Yeah, this is why I'm not really good at giving directions, because I'm like, the route that I take from point A to point B will change dramatically depending on how much traffic I see on a given street. I'm trying to time green left arrows, and I am not going to make this one, I don't think. I'm going to try though. Come on, stay green, stay green, stay green. Thank you, light. Oh, the light gods are smiling upon me today. Check that out. Ah. Of course, here I am on YouTube giving away all my secrets. Everybody starts driving like this. I don't know that it would be that efficient. I think that's where Waze went wrong. And for those who don't know, that's a thing. For those who are unfamiliar with Waze, Waze is a GPS navigation app that uses a real-time traffic aggregate. It probably uses Google's because it's publicly available, and then uses all the information of all side streets and basically directs people to do the kind of thing I'm doing, but via an algorithm, which of course isn't going to be good as, you know, me using my brain, but it's still pretty damn efficient. And a lot of municipalities have got very frustrated with Waze, as well as certain residential neighborhoods have gotten very frustrated with Waze, because Waze is directing people off congested freeways and off congested stroads and onto residential back roads that people that live there or have businesses there don't want through traffic on. And my response to that is, well, fix the traffic on your stroads, fix the traffic on your freeways. And then, of course, the anti-car people are like, oh, one more lane won't help, induced demand, induced demand. Look, I get the concept of induced demand, but guess what? Imagine if, and these people always support densification, so this is where you can flip the script on those people if you're having a debate with one of those type of people. And mind you, I kind of am one of those type of people, but hear me out. One of those anti-car urban densification type people are like, hey, we would have more walkable cities if instead of adding one more lane to the roads, we just added more densification and eliminated single-family homes and put in multi-family housing units and mid-rise residential towers, blah blah blah. Okay, but let's stop for a moment and think. What would happen if all that denser development was put in and absolutely no adjustments were made to the utility infrastructure to support it? Let's say that you didn't add one more pipe, and I'm using one more pipe as an analogy to one more lane for freeways and stroads. Let's say you didn't add one more pipe for sewage, and you didn't add one more pipe for municipal water delivery, and you didn't add one more junction box and one more cable for electrical delivery. You know what a complete clusterfuck that denser development would be? You wouldn't be able to get power or water to it. You wouldn't be able to get shit out of it. And I mean that quite literally. You would have sewage backing up and toilets in these towers not flushing. In fact, you would have, gosh, there's a place where that happened. Dubai. You would have a Dubai situation where at the bottom of giant towers, you have literal shit trucks that have to drive the shit out because the plumbing infrastructure, the sewage infrastructure is not adequate to get all of the shit to the sewage treatment plants from all the toilets in the building. And yes, that's a thing. Seriously, look that up on YouTube. Maybe I can find it. Maybe I'll remember to link a YouTube video about it. I've seen several YouTube videos on the subject, and it's fascinating. It was quite the shitty rabbit hole to go down, but very, very entertaining, and made me all the more glad that I don't live in Dubai. Anyway, to Phoenix credit, they do a pretty good job at making sure that we have adequate utility infrastructure here, and adequate sewage and water infrastructure here. And certainly over the last 5 years, as I've had reliable water and electricity and sewage, I've been very happy that I don't live in either California or Texas. But the analogy and the argument I'm trying to put here is that the whole induced demand concept and the whole infrastructure concept, it's exactly the same when it comes to traffic. Now, granted, there comes a point where, you know, how many more lanes is tenable? And the best example of that gone wrong that I can think of would be the Katy Freeway, which is I-10 West going out of downtown Houston to the center part of the suburb of Katy. I don't know how many lanes it is, but it's abso-fucking-lutely ridiculous. I've never driven on it. I've traveled on it in both directions, and I'm proud to say that my daughter Allison did the driving and did a fantastic job of doing that driving. I think it actually stressed her out less than it stressed me out. I would have probably been saying, oh no, fuck this, and trying to find another route. And I've looked at maps of that area. There isn't really another route, and therein lies the problem. And maybe the solution would have been, instead of one more lane and one more lane and